Hey, ESL 106, this video we're going to talk about the article you're reading this week, The Pursuit of Strength. I hope you were able to read that. It's not easy. For me, it wasn't easy because I'm not an engineer and I don't know very much about material properties, but I learned a lot by reading carefully. And I hope this was an exercise for you to read carefully and to try to understand a text maybe that was unfamiliar to you. So let's see if I can help you. Let's go through the text together a little bit before you have to do this assignment. My first question is just, what is this about? Were you able to sort of figure out some of the general ideas? Obviously, the topic is definitely something about strength. This word strength comes up throughout the article, and we're looking at different ways of talking about strength. That's something I didn't know before I read this, that material engineers actually look at strength in different ways. And this article really wants us to appreciate how many different qualities there are when we look at materials. Here, let's take a look. Where did you find the main ideas? Did you highlight any sentences to really show the main ideas of this article? Which paragraphs were helpful to capture the main idea as you looked at this article? It's got 8 paragraphs. Is it 8? Yes, 8 paragraphs. And which ones were helpful in finding the main idea? I want to show you these 2 sentences that I highlighted. The first one's in paragraph 3, and so it's here where it starts off with, what is strength? After the introduction and after talking about materials and properties, the writer gives this sentence right there at the beginning of what is strength. The property that builders and engineers have historically pursued most vigorously is strength. So it seemed to me that after introducing properties and materials and a lot of different things about engineering, the writer brings us here and says, we're going to focus on strength. And then I also saw it at the end. So I went back to the conclusion, paragraph 8, and I see that it starts, its first sentence says, for centuries, engineers and material scientists have pursued strength, right? And so I'm getting that from the title, from that paragraph 3, from the conclusion. This article wants me to understand and just reflect on strength and what it means for building, for engineering, and what it looks like in different properties. So as you look at this article, I want you to try to outline it. You can see there are 4 sections. In the introduction would be a 5th section. So these 8 paragraphs are all talked about in this way. All of this is sort of an introduction so that we can understand more about strength. And then over here, starting with section 3, they start to give us some good examples using steel and then other materials that they want us to think about that are strong. And you can see the last section, and this often happens in our articles, talks about the future, materials of the future. What will the strong materials be like in the future? So I'm asking you to fill in this outline. You're going to just find some main ideas, some key words. You know that as you fill in the outline, just use a few words. You're going to do that for the reading assignment. And here on page 238, they give you these sentences. And I think this will help you try to match these sentences up with those paragraphs. There are 8 paragraphs. See which paragraphs have these 5 sentences, have these as their main idea. And that's going to help you get some of the main organization of this article. As you continue to work with this article, there are these questions in a closer look. And these are the questions that look at details. They want to look specifically in each of these paragraphs and ask you, what's going on here? What's the writer saying? Some of these are true, false, and here are my answers. You can compare your answers with my answers, see if you agree. See if this is helpful to you or if you have questions looking back at the article. But I want us to spend a little time here with the skill review. I'd like to get you into the skill review. It's really a good way to take the article and the skill and bring them together. So take a look at page 239. They have two different tables or charts, and they want you to skim, scan, look through the article quickly, and try to find words that would fill in these charts. So we're going to do this together. So looking just first at this first chart, it's saying what are some of the properties, and this is above the chart it says list 3 inherent properties of materials, and then explain what that means. So where do you think you should look? Hopefully you have your book open. Flip back through the article. Which paragraph is going to give you 3 inherent properties of materials? And what do those properties mean? So you can pause here if you want. I'm going to keep going. So I found this in paragraph, where did I find this? I found this in paragraph 2, sorry, in the first part of paragraph 2, in the text part, talking about inherent properties of materials. And I see, maybe you see this, materials exhibit an array of inherent properties. And so I took these words, electrical, thermal, optical, and mechanical. And we'll talk more about mechanical later. But I took the first 3, thermal, optical, electrical. And the article helped me figure out what these meant. They gave me some footnotes. At the bottom of the page, on page 239, I find out thermal really is related to heat, how materials conduct heat. Optical is related to light and seeing, if you can see through a material, if it's transparent, or if it's opaque, you can't see through it. And then electrical is the third inherent property, and that's about conducting electricity. So that helped me just to find, organize, gather information from this article. Let's do another one. Here we are. It says, so now review these 3 physical properties. And you see I typed them here, toughness, hardness, stiffness. And try to find words that describe the 2 ends of that property. So how do we describe toughness? What are the adjectives that are used to describe a lot of toughness and not very much toughness? High end is a lot, low end is not very much. So I'll give you a minute, again, to skim the article. Where does it talk about these 3 properties? I have to keep moving so I don't run out of time. But I found these words here in paragraph 2. And now I'm there, maybe you see the bullet points that have toughness, hardness, stiffness, and the description gives me these adjectives, right? That materials go from tough to brittle, from hard to soft, from stiff to flexible. And those are the adjectives that help me understand these properties. So good work, just skimming through this article, trying to organize all the information that we have here. Your next step, guys, is to go ahead, take what you know about this article. Hopefully you've been able to read it, you've been able to outline it, take notes, annotate it. You're going to open up in Module 11 the reading assignment, and it's going to ask you to give the outline and actually summarize this article. So how would you state the main idea? In your own words, of course. Give the main idea of this article, and then I want you to use your outline and write a summary. And remember, a summary paragraph has, I'm asking for 4 to 6 sentences. So that would be maybe a sentence for each section in this article, right? So go ahead and take a look at this. You'll see these questions. You're going to work with summary, and then I have a response for you to do in discussion board. As usual, after you've shown how well you understand the article, I want you to respond to it, give your own opinion, give your own example of how you see strength in different materials. Here's the question that I ask you in discussion board. It says, after reading The Pursuit of Strength, here's 2 questions. What is something built by engineers that you have seen that shows the property of strength? Share a picture in your thread. And that's where I got this picture. This is a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco for a little while. It's in California. And this bridge is huge, and it shows all these properties of strength, both tensile strength and compression strength. They're all there. Cars drive over this bridge. It's really amazing. I'm sure that you have seen interesting buildings, towers, bridges, monuments, many things. If you can find a picture, I give you instructions when you open up your thread. There is a mashup part in the box, and if you click on the mashup, it will show you Flickr photos, and you can try to find a photo of what you want to show us, something you've seen that really shows a lot of strength. So see if you can do that, guys. Try to share a picture as well as the words, type the words in your thread. And my second question is really coming from the skill speech, the TED Talk that you listen to. Are you interested in studying engineering? Our speaker talked a lot about why she was interested in engineering, and I'm wondering if you're interested in engineering. Why or why not? So answer those questions, share those answers with us, and we will look forward to reading your posts.